Hi. As you know, next week I will not be in Stony Brook. I will be at a research conference, so I have created some assignments for you to do while I'm away. Now, this is a perfect time to meet as a team for the first time and complete the first team assignment. So, for your teams, we have a button here under the main menu called Teams. If you click on that, your team will automatically pop up. Because I'm the instructor, I get all the teams list here. So, just double check your team. I had two teams with only 3 students and a number of teams with 5 students. So I moved 2 students, I think it's Henry and Kevin, to team 7 and team 9. So they would have 4 students each. So most teams now have 4 students. A couple teams have 5 students because some students had dropped the class. So I had to rearrange 2 students to make the teams a little bit more balanced. I'm sorry for that inconvenience, but we really haven't done any teamwork yet. So hopefully you guys are okay with that. So once you're in the team area, you will see your team area will look like this, where you have your collaboration tools, your file exchange, sort of like a Google Drive. And you can email your team members. There's a discussion board. Here, your team members will be listed and your 2 assignments. So far, there is the industry team assignment and the industry stock assignment. So the industry team assignment is the one that we're talking about now. So this assignment is basically I want you to pick an industry. Now, it can be any industry, but I strongly recommend not picking an industry that's in the financial or investment areas or insurance. So no banks, no mutual fund companies, no insurance companies, no financial companies, because they are very difficult to analyze and they do not make a good investment report. So don't pick financial, insurance, or banking companies. Pick, service, retail, manufacturing companies are fine. You could do the fast food industry can be a sector, retail, automobiles, airplane manufacturers. But, well, here's the problem though. Airplane manufacturers, there may not be enough of them to pick because you need to list 10 or more companies in your industry. 10 is the minimum. I wouldn't do more than 15 though. I mean, probably keep it to 10. In certain exceptions, you may want to make it 11 or 12 if they're all really big key companies. But try to keep in that range. 10 to 12, I think, would be best. This is due on March 8th, so only one student in the group needs to submit. So you would go in and you could either attach a file or there may be a text box provided where you could just type in your industry and the 10 companies. And that's it. So it's not a lot to do, but I only need one student for your team to submit it because that will show up for everybody. So if multiple students in your team submit it, that will confuse me and I'll be double grading things. So just have one student in the team submit that assignment. Now, you should use Tuesday or Thursday to meet as a group during our class time. It doesn't have to be in our classroom, but that's a time where everyone's available. So try to make a time where your group can meet, get to know each other, and pick an industry and talk and select the 10 stocks that you want to work with. Okay. Okay, to give you a little help on picking a sector, you can go to Yahoo Finance. On Yahoo Finance, you can click on Market Data and then Stocks. Okay, so when you're in Market Data Stocks, sort of on the right side, you'll see something move down. It'll say More Market Stats, and you'll see Stock Screener. So you could click on that, and then the Stock Screener will show you different industries in here. So you can kind of click around here and there's all a bunch of different industries. If you're not sure what industry to pick or you can't find an industry that has, 10 different manufacturers. So maybe we could do drug manufacturers and I can click on drug manufacturers and I just have everything opened up here. And then I could hit, hold on. Problem sizing this up. Yep, and then find stocks down here. And then now it will list a bunch of stocks. I have actually, let's see, the 278 stocks came back. So that is a lot of pharmaceutical companies, drug manufacturers. So you know what? That list is too big. So to narrow the selection, because you remember you want to get the best companies that you can in your selecting probably the most desirable companies in your portfolio, 10 or 12. So let me go back to drug. Okay. So maybe I'll put the share price would have to be a minimum of 20. And then maybe the market cap, I would want a minimum of 500 million just to make sure it's a decent sized company. Would want revenues over 500 million, and I would say profit margin over 10%. So this would mean I'm picking all the profitable companies. So any company that's not making money, I can kind of pull off that list. So I could find those stocks again, and now I have a list of 46 stocks. So maybe I'll go back and I'll tighten that up. I'll go to say profit margin of 20%. You can also pick PE ratio, book to sales, earnings growth. So let me see what I get. Now I have 8 companies. Okay, so that's too small. Let me go back. So I'm going to say 10% again, but I'm going to say a 5 years earning growth of 20% or more in earnings growth. And that 0 companies. Okay, that was a little too aggressive. Let's take 5% earnings growth. Oh, still, let's give up on earnings growth. Maybe 1 year growth of 5% or more. Oh, no results. All right, so you get the idea. You kind of play around with this in here. Maybe I'll minimize the market cap and I'll increase this to 20% again, and I'll find still 8 companies. All right, so back to 10, and then maybe I'll put a PE ratio of between 10 and 30. And I get now 26 companies. So this is sort of, but out of this 26 companies, some of these may be undesirable. So you would have to kind of sort through and pick what you think is the best representation of this industry as far as the 10 to 12 companies you want to analyze. So that's one way of doing it. Another way is you could go to our school website, and you can go to libraries. So stonybrook.com, go to libraries, and then go to databases, and click on the H database, and you want to go right to Hoover's academic database. And you have to do this through the website because you have to sign in with your NetID to get the subscription level of Hoover's. Because our school pays for some of your tuition or fees pay for this site Hoover's, which is a database. So in here you can look up information on industries as well. So you can pick a company. Maybe you have a company that will just say McDonald's. So we'll just pick on McDonald's. Okay, so here what's really neat is that you can get industry information. So you can click on this and we can go competition and competitors list. So if you know a company that you're interested in, but you're not quite sure their industry that they're in or their competitors, you can go to this website and now it's going to list all their competitors. And even give you the top competitor. Who are the top competitors? So that's another way of doing it. Now what's good about this site is in an upcoming assignment, let's go back to assignments. There's another team assignment called Stock Excel database. And here I want you to create a database of all your company's financial statements and financial ratios. And there's an example under course documents. So if you go to documents and let's see, examples of stock papers, you'll see this fast food spreadsheet industry example. So that would be one example of the spreadsheet I'm looking for you to create. Now, this assignment is actually, again, you need to go to Teams. If you go to Teams and in your team environment, you'll see the assignment listed, stock industry database. And this particular assignment isn't due until March 30th. So this is not something that's due right away, but your next step after picking the industry. So you may want to start working on it now. Now, what's nice about, let me show you the example. So here's the example that I want you to work with. And let me just make this bigger. Let's see, a little bit bigger so you can see it. Okay, so in this example, I want you to, this is just a 3-company example. Yours would probably have, actually 4 companies here. Yours would have 10 columns. So I want you to find these key financial pieces of information from the balance sheet and income statement. And then you list them for all 4 companies and find the industry average. Then you could use these key inputs to calculate your financial ratios. So you have your liquidity, your asset management, your database, your profitability, and your market value. And all these formulas are listed in the textbook. And then there's also a section called technical information from Yahoo. So this technical information, again, we would find from Yahoo. So I'm going to show you right now how to find this in Yahoo. So you go to the, so let's pick a company here. So once we're in Yahoo, we want to click on key statistics. And then if we go, let's see here. So we're looking for short interest to float, daily volume, 52-week high, low, RSI, moving averages, and beta. So if we go back into Excel, here is some, here's a lot of the data will be in here. So if we have here, we have the beta, we have the 52-week high and low, we have the 50-day and 200-day moving average, we have the short percentage of float, the short ratio. You could include more factors than I'm just giving you a bare bones list in my example here. You can include other topics in the technical analysis as well. This says 100-day and 200-day. You could, if you wanted to, I'm fine with you using the 50-day and what they have here, 50-day and 200-day, since it's listed here. Average volume, float. So a lot of the technical indicators are right here in the key statistics area of the company. There's also like the PEG ratio could be something that you might want to use. So there's a lot of information in here. Yahoo also has the income statement and balance sheet. So we want annual, you want to use annual data. So they have the income statement and balance sheet. But I would say it would be easier to go to Hoover's. Like I was showing you before, we're in hoovers.com for McDonald's. And here they have something, they have financials. Let's see, financials. So you click on financials and you have a balance sheet. Now, unfortunately, this version, we can't download the data, which we used to be able to do, which is really convenient. However, you can easily cut and paste it. So here, I'm going to select the data, just highlighting it, Control Copy, go into Excel, and I'm going to paste it. So it comes over pretty nice. You can just reformat it a bit maybe. Okay, so here, what's nice though is we have 2014, 2013, 12, 11. So I have 5 years of balance sheet financial statements, and you're also gonna need. So you're also going to need the income statement. So I can click on financial. So this isn't too much work. I've got a reload button. Okay, so I got the financial statement in here again. I'm just going to highlight it, copy, go back to my spreadsheet, and I will paste it. Okay. And I think I'm going to have to just move this over. All right. So now I have my income statement and balance sheet, and you can, and for 5 years, which is important because when you actually do your spreadsheet here, you can go in and actually delete a couple. I don't use every item from the balance sheet income statement. So you could either include, you could include everything in a spreadsheet, or you could, I just tailored it here to make it a little bit cleaner. You don't have to follow, this is just my template. You do not have to follow this template as long as you come up with the same results, which is an industry average for most of the financial data and the financial ratios. The other thing that's important why you would want to create this in Hoovers like this is because in your analysis report, which is the last thing that you're going to create, you're going to have to do a year-over-year analysis, which I also have an example, year-over-year company trend analysis. And in this trend analysis, you're going to be doing having the financial. You're going to have the financial information, and so for 2003, 2004, you give me a year-over-year change. So having the Excel like this makes it easy to kind of pop in a column, insert a column, and then put it in a calculation. I'm just doing, a quick percent change formula to get a percent change in here. And then you could, so this could be a year over year. So it's easy. That's why I'm saying if you just cut and paste from Hoovers, then you can have a nice, really clean format to edit into your industry database, so you can get your industry averages, and also to create your year over year. Now the year over year report is only needed for the two stocks you're analyzing. You don't have to do this. Don't do this for every stock. For every stock needs to be in your industry average report, which is your database that you're submitting. The year over year is something that you would need to submit when your final report is due, and only for the two companies you're analyzing. This doesn't have to be done for every company. Okay, so let's just go back to the Blackboard. So those are two assignments. One is you're going to meet next week as a team and decide on your industry and pick your 10 stocks. So I gave you two tools, Yahoo and Hoovers, to help you do that. The second thing coming up after that will be the stock Excel database, and this is where you're going to go in and create for me in a database of all your stocks you've selected and all the financial ratios you're going to create from scratch, just like a real analyst would do. A real analyst would not just go to the internet and find the financial ratios somewhere. They would calculate them by hand, and that's what you're going to do. Then later on, there'll be the first draft stock analysis paper. So on April 28th, a month later, you're gonna put together for me a first draft of your report, and you're going to submit it in this assignment. When you see this green check here, this is a safe assignment. And it's one way I'm going to check that you didn't cut and paste anything from the internet. Everything was written in original by you and your team. So this first draft, and keep in mind the industry assignment, team assignment, the Excel database team assignment, and this first draft report, they're all 0-point assignments. There's no grade attached to these. This is just to make sure that you're on target with this and give me an opportunity to help you do better. So this first draft, I'll meet with your team during probably the first class after April 28th. We're going to meet, and I'm going to discuss your report with your team as if I was your boss, and give you ideas and examples on how to improve your paper to make sure that you get an A for this paper, and give you every chance possible to correct some mistakes and improve your paper. So we're going to work together, and that's why I want you to submit this first draft. And then at the end of the course, let's see, at the end of the course, the industry stock industry team paper is due, and that's due on May 10th. And I gave you, there's a template I attached here, and an example of, under course documents, there's examples of completed papers. One paper is very close to the template. One paper is a little bit different than the template, because you don't have to duplicate the template 100%. It's just the starting point. And that's due on May 10th, and that's when I want you to select two companies, and I want you to select the best two companies from your industry. Create two stock analysis papers that should be between 10 and 15 pages. You can go up to 20, even 25 pages as a maximum, but you shouldn't be less than 10 pages for each report. And just attach the files, the two, which would be in a Word or PDF format, attach it to this industry team report link, which you can also find. If you don't see it under the assignments tab, because that's my instructor view, look under your team tab, and these assignments should be listed under your team tab, except for the first draft. The first draft assignment is under individual assignments for some reason. But okay, anyway, so that is sort of, I wanted you to get together early as a group and start preparing the data. So now, right now what you can do is pick the industry and start collecting the data for the database, and you create that spreadsheet. So maybe you're going to have in the spreadsheet, let me just pull up, you want to, I would say keeping one spreadsheet organized, so you could have each company can be a different tab where you have you have each stock symbol, each company and have the financials in it, and then one tab, probably your first tab, can be the industry data, and you can create your industry data in here. So that way you have all your companies and financial reports, and you can easily, quickly, even create create your industry table in there, and you have one spreadsheet to submit. And that's something that you can start working on early. So you don't need to do any analysis here. You're just putting together that spreadsheet. And then by the end of April, when the first draft is due, you'll know enough from the class to start analyzing and putting that first draft together. And then after that first draft is due, we'll meet the next class, and then you'll have about 2 weeks to complete the final draft. Okay, so that's the overview of the teamwork assignments, and this is a great time now to get started on this, given the fact that you have 2 classes where I'm not going to be there, where your team can meet on Tuesday and Thursday next week to get this done. Okay, thank you.